Welcome to Swimming Lessons in Dating. We are on episode 5, and today's episode is about how you're going to start dating. I'm Cassandra,
Big question. I'm Tracy.
and let's dive in.
Yes, how you are going to start dating? That's a big topic. When you think about, do we just dive in, jump in? Do you hear, do you
Yeah,
just hear what is the biggest trend right now?
yes, yes. And I think a lot of us are so busy with our lives, and I don't really like that word. That like tends to, it really tends to be um, a word that describes how you prioritize your life.
Very true.
And so, just a lot of people will be like, "Oh, I'm too busy to date." Well, that
Mm-hmm.
means you're not prioritizing dating, which is
So
okay.
true.
Like we're all in different phases of our lives. There are like different ways that we like spend our time,
Very true. Very
right?
true.
Like
Yeah, I mean
it's
it's an interesting when you think about being too busy in life, and there's such a reality to that in many ways. I mean, when I think about are you ready? How are you going to start dating or go about dating?
right,
Um, going through whatever you are going through in life at some point, one way or another, there's a part of us that can go through phases where we're like, you know what, dating just isn't in my time right
right.
now. It's not in my chapter. It's not in my season of life right now. And other times we're feeling a little bit more connected to like this is the right time. I'm feeling like things are
Yes.
settled. I'm ready to dive in and get
Yes.
going.
Yep. Or just like dipping in the pinky toe. Like we've talked
Yes.
about this
We
before,
have.
you don't have to necessarily like put all that energy
No.
into opening up conversations with multiple people. You could
Yeah.
just start one conversation with someone and try to connect. It doesn't have to be um, you know, um like out there and
True.
excessive.
So the how are you going to start dating?
Yes.
How do you define that particular question?
So I think about all the different ways that we can connect with people.
Yeah.
And one of the ways that I have chosen to use in my life since 2012 would be online dating.
Yes.
And that
Yep.
was in another episode, I talked a little bit about my background and what that looked like for me. And that was definitely different back then.
I
And
agree.
and
Absolutely.
so
Yeah.
yeah,
I've been
yeah,
in and out of the online dating world for a lot of years. And
right.
yeah, different apps, different just times in life,
Yeah.
different things like that. But a lot of common factors is the same frustration, no matter what site you try. But you know what? There's also happy endings for a lot of people too, and so
Right,
I think
right.
that's what keeps the hope alive. A lot of times
Yes,
is like
right.
hearing the matches and hearing the success stories
Right.
that
Because there
it is
are,
possible.
it is absolutely, there are success stories that it is possible. Absolutely. I know at least two people, maybe
Mm-hmm.
more, that have met their significant others on online dating apps. And we're going to talk about dating apps in the next episode more
Yes,
intensely.
yes,
But
yeah,
online dating apps are successful.
yeah,
And
and
they're,
that's one way
yes,
that you can start dating.
right.
One method.
And right, exactly. Exactly. And especially for those of us who maybe have virtual jobs, who aren't maybe in a community that has a lot of activities where you
Mm-hmm.
could go out
Mm-hmm.
naturally and meet people,
Yeah,
dating apps are really helpful. And then some of
yeah.
us are just, we have high standards. And so we need to like look out. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Like we both should. Like
We both
we both do. We both have high standards. So like,
yeah.
looking outside of your 5 mile radius,
You're
like,
right.
I'm in
Right.
Madison. So I'm in Madison, Wisconsin, for those of you who are listening outside of Madison or even outside the state of Wisconsin. Um, and so, I mean, Madison is like, you could drive 30 minutes to
It's
get to the
huge.
other side The
Like
west
you're
side, the
stuck
west
on the
side and the
belt
east
line.
side. Yeah. The west side and the east side of Madison are 30 minutes apart, not
Yeah.
30 miles, but 30 minutes apart.
Yeah.
And so then, like, if you're talking mileage, how thinking about all these things, right? So, anyway, so we'll get more into that in the
Yeah.
next
And
episode, but
I live in a very small town that it takes maybe
yes,
10 minutes to get from one side to the other. So it's,
right.
and so the online dating world is
It's totally
it is
different.
right,
It's
right.
different. Like
Well,
the pool doesn't have as many members
that is so true.
in inside
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
swimming
If
around.
I were to meet someone, they'd be like, "I'm 2 minutes away." I don't know what I think about that.
That's actually, it's happened to me
Yeah,
multiple
multiple
times.
times.
Multiple times.
Well, that's interesting because it brings to another method of dating is or another part of the how are you going to start dating is
Yes.
the differences between are you going to meet someone in your town, the small
Yes.
town or city that
Right.
you live in,
Right.
or are you going to
Right.
go to a bigger area?
Right.
It just exactly connects to what you just talked about is there isn't a whole lot of options in that small town for
Right.
so
Right.
I have to kind of consider distance for me a little bit more because not only small town maybe not a lot of options but
Right.
the career that we live in also has a little bit more of an extra barrier, if I want to say barrier,
Yeah.
because of the
Yeah.
work that we do. We have
Right.
to be very careful. And
Right.
so, for me, for example, I'm living in a town that's got less than 10,000 people in it. It narrows down people options. But then with the career I'm in, I have to also make sure it has nothing to do with any clients or family
Right.
members or anything
Right.
around that potential work role.
Yes. Yes.
So, yeah, so I'm jumping
It
into
gets
the bigger towns and bigger pools.
yes, it gets to be complicated in certain situations for
Yeah,
sure.
and we're fishing
Yeah.
in the same pond, basically.
I
Then
we there have been some comparisons.
there
We
has,
we have
yeah.
matched with the same
We
people.
have, yes,
we
we
have we
have.
have similar
We
standards in
do,
our
we
lives.
do, we
So,
do.
like it just is.
Mhm.
But so one of the ways that I think we just were talking about before we started the episode are these meetup groups.
Mhm. Mhm.
And so my experience has been really good with meetup groups. I am part of one meetup group here in Madison, and they have a lot of different events in the area. Lots
Mhm.
of different people show up, and these meetup groups aren't necessarily, there are some like singles groups, but it's not like you show up and then you're
Right.
like speed dating with these
Mhm.
people. It's like you're hanging out, you're
Mhm.
just being yourself,
Yeah.
like you're just showing up as your true, authentic, genuine self. And
Beautiful.
that's right. And
Yes.
it is like it's low pressure,
Yeah.
and maybe you'll meet some people, maybe you won't. But like here's the thing.
But it's more casual because the
Yes.
intention isn't specifically dating like an online
Right.
dating world would be. The
Yes.
meetup app is more like maybe you'll meet someone in your either community, in your
Right.
work environment, in
Right.
your profession,
Right.
just someone
Exactly.
casually to become friends with, network with.
Right.
It's
Networking.
it's a lot more open concept than just specifically in online dating, which that is
Right.
key to just that.
Yes.
So sounds
Yes.
like that's a positive having those meetup groups.
Yes, absolutely. And then I
Mhm.
think about that option when you're networking, when you're talking to people, they know people.
Yeah.
So even if like they might be like, oh, they're more of like a connection for like a colleague connection
Mhm.
or like just like a friendly face in the community that you're going to see at like fundraisers and things like that.
Mhm.
Um, that they know people.
Yeah.
And then they think of you and they're like, oh my gosh,
Oh.
I know this like fabulous person who, like can connect with
Mhm.
you.
Yeah.
And sometimes like this is what okay, I'm actually I'm gonna hold that comment until
Okay.
the other
The other.
okay, I'm
Okay.
gonna hold myself back. So
She's going to hold yourself back. Watch out. So I will kind of piggyback off of your meetup group.
Yes.
So I am a part of several like public Facebook groups
Yes.
for I have hiking, kayaking, wasn't a camping group, not in that one anymore, but there's one that's for travel buddies for women, like if you're
Yeah.
looking to travel somewhere you don't want to travel by yourself.
Right. Right.
And then there's also walking, running, cycling groups. Anything that you have a hobby or interest in, you're most likely to find
Right.
a public Facebook group.
Right.
So what happens in these groups is, say my kayaking group, it's all through Wisconsin. It's for anyone who is in that group.
Right.
And someone says, hey, we are going to kayak at Lake Monona at 10 a.m. on Saturday. Whoever's interested in going shows up with their kayak, and you just kayak in a group. And it's really kind of a neat thing because, again, it's not specific for dating. It's not specific for,
right.
It's just getting to know people and maybe making some new friends.
That's
and just
right.
enjoying your hobby with other people.
That's right.
And so even that can be an open door to dating.
That's right.
You don't see coming.
That's very natural and organic ways that it's possible, right? Yes. Like, and then you're also, the pressure is low. It's not like you're showing up expecting to,
meet the person of your dreams.
Right. You don't ever know. Right. Yeah, you don't ever know. But that does put you in a good position for that.
Because so far, strolling the aisles of Menards and Fleet Farm has not
and even
met my match yet.
Yeah, Whole Foods. Not happening. That's okay. It's okay. Yet. It's okay. But there are some good potentials that might show up. Yes. I mean,
I have tried that.
Yes. Okay. Yes, that is maybe that's a good lead in to talk about the public, natural, organic connections.
Yes.
Because if you are in your house working all day virtually and you don't leave your house, you're not going to meet people.
Honestly, I know you work from home.
Yes.
I work from home remotely. Yeah. A lot of clients I have work remotely, friends work remotely. And there are days sometimes that we don't leave the house.
Right. Yes.
There are days sometimes.
Sure.
Especially in wintertime when it's freezing. I hate the cold. I will not leave for days. Well, how am I supposed to meet someone then?
Well, right. Exactly. So I think the ways that I connect, that I get out in the world just naturally, I'm at the gym. Mm-hmm. So I'm at the gym and it's no, but here's the thing. And everybody listening that goes to the gym will know exactly what I'm talking about. Right. Okay. So when you go to the gym, there are a lot of beautiful people. There are a lot of beautiful people. Okay. But also those beautiful people could be married. They could be partnered. They could, so it's you don't want to show up and be flirting and, it can be inappropriate and potentially putting yourself at risk of flirting with someone who's maybe married or, so that's not my style. That's not my style.
And you probably wouldn't know some of those things.
Right. Yes.
We had a conversation one time about how, if someone's married, typically they have a ring. Most likely they have a ring.
Yes.
If a man
sometimes
is engaged, not a ring.
There's not a ring.
There's not a ring.
There is not a ring.
That is a tough territory.
Right.
Because we would think that they're single.
Right.
However, it's not until
you just have to
or know anything more.
Make eye contact.
Yeah.
It's okay to be friendly. I think that is actually, that's something to talk about because one of the things I've seen as, you're on social media and you see these things, but there was this post that I saw about looking up. When you walk, look up, make eye contact with people, smile, be genuine, not hey. I mean, just just smile and wave, be friendly, right? And when you're like that, people are drawn to that positive energy. You can be really genuine and kind and just who you are. And maybe there will be someone that's like,
I noticed her.
I want to say something to this
Mm-hmm.
woman, right? So that can happen. I have clients who've told me about this. I don't know if I've had friends that have met anybody at the gym, but I've had clients tell me that they have gone out,
They've
have gone out with multiple people from their gyms, and then we have this other like thing to talk about is that, oh, then you got to go to the gym and see your exes, or
if it doesn't work out, awkward.
and that has happened to me like a couple of times.
Yeah.
So, but
Awkward.
that's okay.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
Yeah.
And like, here's the thing: when you are dating and putting yourself out there, and like that stuff may happen, as long as you are conducting yourself with grace and kindness and good boundaries, and you know that you have like been yourself in that situation. I mean, like that can put you in a stronger, empowered
Absolutely.
position to feel stronger when you see those people out in public. You're like, I am fabulous. And I know, like, and so then it's not awkward for you.
Sure.
It might be awkward for them. Like, but it's not awkward for you. So you can have that strength behind who you are. And it just makes it a little
A little bit
easier.
easier. Yeah.
So,
So, how about getting set up with from a friend or by a friend?
let's
I
talk.
have had
Let's
some
talk.
not so good experiences.
So
with that.
okay, Tracey, are we ready to dive into that?
Let's dive in.
So, what are your experiences? Would you like
Not
to
good.
would you like to share? Clearly, it didn't work out.
Did not work out, right.
Yes, that's my story as well.
But here's the thing, all of us we have perceptions of how we think someone is. We feel like we can know someone sometimes.
Yes, absolutely.
And we don't necessarily know deeper levels of someone.
That
because
is
we're not
spot
out there
on.
revealing everything.
Totally.
So if someone has unhealed trauma, if they have attachment, abandonment, if they've had some not so great histories,
right?
That's not something that a friend would, unless it's a very close friend,
right?
We're not going to know those deeper levels,
right?
Of
Exactly.
the skeletons in the closet,
totally.
So those are, I would say, some of the downfalls. Is
right.
The more so I get set up with someone, getting to meet someone, it takes
right.
time, and the more you take time, the more those layers are being peeled back of the onion of who they are and a little bit more of their background and things like that. And the more those are unpeeled, the more that you're digging further, you're like,
the more you cry.
Yes.
That
yes,
onion, those
yes.
onion peeling moments make you cry. It's emotional.
So I would say that I haven't had the greatest experiences because of those reasons, and I don't fault my friends because, again,
no,
deeper things that the other person would not share.
That's right. Absolutely. Yes.
You're only going to know them on maybe a little bit more than a surface level, but
yeah.
not so much deeper.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
As time went on and the deeper levels were revealed.
Yeah, and our friends also do not know these people in a relationship. Like, that's they don't know how they are with intimacy at a deeper level. They just can't have that understanding of that. Totally.
All those type of
things. Right.
Yeah.
And so,
and how often would we see someone that we don't have, that we have a little bit deeper, like, than surface level? But how are we going to know when things go wrong? How they communicate when things go wrong?
Yes, when they get angry, what happens?
Yes, exactly. And we're not going to know that.
Yeah.
And so those are things ultimately in those situations of being set up with someone that you have to, that you will experience along the way, and then decide for yourself,
right,
how this is going to go.
Right. So, because like,
clearly it did not go well.
It has not, because here we are.
Here we are. Yes,
and here's the thing. I'm thinking of one in particular. I will be very brief.
Was not brief.
It was brief. But that is I think that is the hitting the nail on the head there, is that um, there can be really great, solid people,
Mhm.
like good men. We've talked
Mhm.
about like this, like, what is a good man? Like,
Mhm.
there are
Mhm.
some really good men out there who are just wonderful with their friends and they show up, and oh boy, you get them in a relationship and they are maybe not ready for that.
Not ready. Yeah.
They
Yeah.
just or they want to be, like, they can say that they want to be ready or they are ready,
Mhm.
and then when they have an opportunity to be in that thing that they describe, it is so scary. And that is because of some potential unhealed
Yeah.
childhood wounds or unhealed
Mhm.
attachment, or, do they want to run the opposite way? Like, are they fearful about connection and opening up to someone because they might get hurt? Or,
Mhm.
and we all have that to some extent, but some of us have it
Mhm.
more than others. And like, we are certainly not here to judge. We all go through our times in our lives. But that's not relationship ready. So,
Right. Yeah. And
yeah.
I'm not saying I wouldn't try or be open to it again.
Right. Oh, yes,
I
I
would still
would.
be open to it
I
again,
would too.
Yeah.
I would too. Yep.
I literally have had conversations this last month with different people in my life that have literally talked about, when you stop trying, it'll happen. I mean, I would love to meet someone more in an organic way, in a natural way. I
Yes,
really
I
would.
would as well.
And I've heard from so many people, like, just, you never know when this person's going to show up in your life. You never know
Right.
what situation. It
Right.
could be like literally the most random place
Yeah.
that, and I've actually heard stories too in this last month of people, I think, that were talking to me about it, of how random they met their
Yes.
partner,
Yes.
and how, like,
A chance
that it was a love.
encounter.
Yes. And it was a love story. And I'm like,
Oh,
I'm so happy.
that's so
But
sweet. But that's like,
yeah, it is.
it gives hope to
Definitely.
some people that
Mm-hmm.
maybe aren't like on the apps and like have
Yeah.
gone through like the whole
Different things.
dating pool, and we're at whatever city you're in.
Right. Right.
So
One thing that I really took away more than anything else is when you talk about how are you going to start dating, I think, A, you have to make sure you're ready.
yes,
And B, I think you have to just be open in your mindset that it really could happen at any time in your
that
life,
is
in any
right.
situation or any circumstance.
That's totally
So
true.
you don't put the blinders on, like, at tunnel vision, that
That's
it has
right.
to be this
So
way and that way in this circumstance.
right,
That you keep yourself
absolutely.
open to the process,
Yeah.
and you have to get out and live life.
That's right. Getting out and living life.
Yeah.
What are we doing after this?
We're gonna go live life.
We're going to go live life, and we're going to patio sit and have a beautiful lunch and maybe a cocktail.
Mm-hmm.
And just like have good conversation, be like,
Mm-hmm.
we're friends. We are podcast hosts. And so we will probably talk about business and we'll talk about dating and like
Yeah.
just be like, out and having good conversation. Um, and, I think about that. I think about socializing with your friends, making sure
Mm-hmm.
you have a really good friend network so that you're out and, out in public settings. I think about like concerts and
Mm-hmm.
live
Mm-hmm.
music. And if
Yeah.
you have older children, like my daughter and I go out, and
Mm-hmm.
I had a man come up to her and I when we were at a place here in Madison. And he was so brave, like such a brave person to come up to me, and just wasn't my type, but like that, and that's okay. Like
Yeah,
you could still be,
absolutely.
you still can be friendly, but like, having really good boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
And you also don't want to send mixed signals. So
Yeah.
like, that too, just really being like self-aware about how we're conducting ourselves. But I keep like, when you say don't put on that tunnel vision, it's like when you are walking down the street, and I think for women, we are like, put your head down, don't make eye contact. Like we don't want to
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
send like, but like pull your shoulders back, get into this empowering like energy, and you
Yeah.
never know.
You just never
You
know.
just never know.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it was interesting. I was out to lunch yesterday and I was by myself,
Yep.
just went and, and I caught myself in the middle of lunch being able to be excited and proud of myself for going out by myself and just enjoying it and
Yes.
getting
I
out.
love
And
it.
you know what? It was a little place. Enjoyed it. It was a really good time.
Yeah.
But it was that refresher in my mindset of like going out, go to a farmer's market, go to places that
Yes.
you enjoy that are fun and just enjoy life.
Right.
We
Right.
that is the part where we can start appreciating so much more of who we may come across.
And I think the other part of this is having some courage to talk to people.
Mm-hmm.
Again, like even if it's just small talk, sometimes that can open up the door. Like if you think of, because I think in this generation, I do think men are a little bit more aware that they don't want to come on too aggressive. They don't want to come on too strong necessarily. And I think that sometimes men can be intimidated in those situations. And so then if you're welcoming and you have a smile on your face and, open energy, that can really be helpful to welcoming in some of that,
Yeah,
sending
absolutely.
some glances over, just,
Wink,
and again,
wink.
like just, doing that in a way that is thoughtful and mindful that this other person receiving it may not be wanting that. So,
So Cassandra started golf lessons
yes.
and hanging out maybe at the clubhouse. So she's invited me to give this a shot and to come with her. So this may be an opportunity.
You might see us at Pin Seekers.
That's right. Exactly.
It's going to be fun.
I think this was a good episode. I think it's really good. It gives options. It gives listeners, viewers,
Yeah,
different options and things that they might be able to try to
right.
get themselves out and find
That's
some
right.
different avenues to how you're going to start
That's right.
dating.
Being open and positive in the way that you are in the world. And that is going to only welcome in more positive and wonderful things in your life. So thank
Yes.
you for listening. And we are going to see you in the next episode where we're going to talk about dating apps.
Oh boy, get yourself ready for that one.
That's right.
Bye.